Hello everybody and welcome back to the Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations walkthrough. It is time to continue our investigation into exactly what has gone on here, because, murder trial now. Pretty sure Ron didn't do it because, you know, he doesn't seem like the type, and yeah, well, we have the Sacred Urn back, and yes, we could probably make this whole thing go quite well. As Nick says, like, this whole thing could actually be a major success despite, you know, everything that's gone down, but there is something that's kind of a little bit more important that we have to deal with, which is, you know, the murder trial. And hello, Miss Andrews. I feel... Wait, why is she so het up over the urn? I mean, yes, it has been found. It's perfectly fine. And yes, this is true. So I think we need to have a little bit more of a talk with her, because it's... Well, I'm sure she's going to blame herself for everything that has happened with, you know... You see, there we go, already. Blaming herself for hiring at me. But the thing is that, even though, you know, he looks like a villain, he sounded like a villain, and he acted like a lunatic, no one could have known. He could have just been like a really weird, asshole-ish eccentric who actually was a detective, but evidently that turned out to not be the case. And yeah, you see, this is the thing. You can't be in two places at once. Like, physically you cannot, unless you've somehow managed to find a way to transport yourself, at which point, if you could phase in and out of reality, you could theoretically be in two places at once, but in reality the likelihood of that happening is minimal. Like, you would need to be proper into well, you'd have to be in a sci-fi world or a superhero world for something like that to actually happen. But yeah, you know, I do find it really odd that the urn came back different, and oh, we've got a Cyclops. Well, two to be precise. Looks like there's something very suspicious going on with this Sacred Urn. So yes, the one who holds the secret to the mystery of the Sacred Urn is Miss Andrews, and I don't think we quite have everything we need to hone in on exactly what's going on there. At least not yet, anyway, but I am sure that we will get there by the end of this investigation phase, which is actually coming up at the end of this part, thankfully. Like, the first first bit of investigating felt like it took quite a while. Ultimately, no, it didn't. It was only like 2 parts. Well, okay, no, it was about 3 parts, and this is just 2. So the second investigation phase is much shorter. It's actually something that somebody brought up in the comments the other day, which obviously I do read. Obviously, sometimes, depending on how far ahead I am with doing my commentary, not always the most useful to me in terms of getting across certain important bits of information that I may or may not have gotten wrong, but it's still really helpful. But yes, the awesome Scott Elder, who is a regular, see you a lot in the comments, I appreciate it, said that one of the things that he really loved about Dual Destinies and Spirited Justice is the ratio of time spent in court to the size of time spent outside the court is much bigger. Because while obviously the outside of court stuff is good, the reason that most people are into the Ace Attorney franchise is the court stuff. We are all here for objection! Hold it! Take that! And all that jazz. And I like how whenever I say those, I mimic an American accent for no apparent reason. Like, I could just go, objection! Hold it! Take that! But now I have to go, objection! Hold it! Take that! I suppose it's because whenever I hear it in-game, it's American, so I mimic the accent. But you see, that's sort of what I do quite often, is I'm... Well, it's mostly when I'm singing, I've noticed, but I mimic accents. So, if I'm singing a song by a certain artist, the way I sing the song kind of replicates them, in a way. So if the song's sung in an accent, I'm probably going to sing it in an accent, unless that would be really, really inadvisable. So, like, if I'm singing, like, a Proclaimer song, then obviously you have to do it in a Scottish accent. So, like, I'm on my way from misery to happiness today. Bit of a rubbish Scottish accent, I know. But it's still, you go into that sort of headspace. And also, like, Electricity from Billy Elliot musical. Try and do a Geordie accent, and I should be able to, because my dad's a Mackem. Sunderland, not quite Geordie, but it's the same type of accent. But yeah, my Geordie's pretty shoddy. It's like, I can't really explain it. I haven't got the words. It's feeling that you can't control. Suppose it's like forgetting, losing who you are, but at the same time something makes you whole. So yeah, it's not quite there. But yeah, do a bit of mimicking. But yes, I think we found something a lot more interesting here. So there was another person in the office when Ron went there. And also, he says that he definitely is Mask to Mask. And he became Mask to Mask to sort out Desiree. Because, obviously, she's got very expensive tastes, and he needed to fund that. And so, this is the first case, I believe. And, oh, well, it's not actually that clever, because that guard is Mr. Delight, although it doesn't really look like Mr. Delight, because it looks like the person in that photo has blonde hair, and Ron has very kind of gingery brown hair. And, so Luke Atney knew the real identity of Mask to Mask from pretty much the beginning. So, how very suspicious. And oh, this is interesting. Tell us more. I knew there was something more to this case. Oh, how very curious indeed. So there's a string of cases, well, a string of blackmail letters, and I mean, it's quite clearly that the major blackmailer is at me. Like, how else would he know about all the stuff to do with Ron? But I'm sure something else very suspicious is going on. Very, very, very suspicious indeed. And I feel we need to know more about these heist plans. I do always like a good heist. Like, to be fair, I've not really seen that many heist films in general, but they are always quite good as a concept, because it's all planning the heist, doing the heist, the fallout of the heist. It's all quite exciting. Obviously all generally very illegal. But yes, and it turns out that ultimately Ron really is Mask to Mask. as obviously sort of been mentioned before, but this is kind of the nail in the coffin that he is indeed who he says he is. So something very, very suspicious is going on. Clearly something to do with the blackmailer. Clearly. They're the mastermind behind this whole thing, which pretty much means that Ron cannot be guilty of killing Kane Bullard. Oh my god, Ron. You hid the body. Oh god. So this kind of puts the nail in the coffin of what's probably going to be taking place. Because didn't this another person quite happily take a guilty verdict for stealing things? Strange. And oh, the paint was put on there recently, eh? Ron, you're not important right now. We need to find out what happened to this urn. I think we've probably got enough to sort out Ron in the grand scheme of things. Looks like at the end of the day, it's quite clear he didn't do it. Very clear to me. So it's just a case of proving that. But we've got one mystery that we really need to solve that might not ultimately prove vital to the case, but we need to solve it for us. And, come on, Adrian. You're gonna need to give up the ghost of what's going on here. A little bit of examination will prove everything that we need. We've got the box, which is where the urn was, and it's covered in paint. Which is the same colour as the stuff on the urn. So clearly, somebody perhaps dropped the box. And if we just move over here, there's the massive paint splotch on the wall, which we did notice earlier, but didn't really do much about. But it does very much look like a box might have landed in that. So I think we've got all the pieces we need now to break the Cyclock. Because, I mean, like, clearly somebody dropped the bloody urn. Indeed, and the person who knows exactly what happened to that urn must be you there, Adrian Andrews. So come on, Magatama time. It's time for a little bit of outlogicking and bringing out the evidence. Well, no, we've just had that proved, so that is not going to wash with us, matey. We have the urn itself. Duh. It's been, like, properly gone over by people in Crane Village, so this stuff is solid. Yes, we said again, because obviously it was broken a year ago, and that was Pearls' fault. Not that, you know, we're going to say much about that, but it has been broken before. So, I mean, there are plenty of reasons that it was broken recently. I mean, the main thing and the reason, bit of evidence that we're going to show is, you see, the poster, different to the actual urn. So, kind of a problem. And I feel this is going to break a cyclock. Indeed it is, because you can't hide from this. And you see, this is exactly why. And really, we are drilling down into Adrian's mind right now. Clearly not, because if it was somebody at the photo shoot, then they would have put the urn back together saying, I am. And the paint marks basically prove that it was broken here. So they all add together to form irrefutable evidence that it happened here. And considering how jumpy you are seeming about this whole thing, I've got a very strong suspicion of who broke it. You. It's bright bloody pink! Of course it's the same paint. But also, you know, we can further prove this by it's on the urn box. The paint's black, the paint marks, the urn box, and the urn all have the same paint on them. Therefore they are connected, and therefore really just come on, Adrian. Just tell us the bloody truth. Indeed, we are right. We are always right. Because we are Mr. Wright. And now we will finally learn the truth of what happened to the sacred urn. Give us the goods, Adrian. So, yeah. To be fair, that box didn't look very well made anyway, so it kind of... very simple. And to be fair, Adrian actually fixed the damn thing properly. And might not want to have used the term any sane person, but yeah, any sane person would think that it said army and not I am. But either way, we've solved what happened to the urn, and actually there's something very important about the army face statue, because when we were here the night of the crime, that statue was covering the paint marks. As Adrian said, she'd put it there to hide the paint. But, you know, when we came back the next day, it moved. So, something very, very suspicious is going on here. So, clearly, somebody moved the statue. Which means that somebody needed to have this place looking in a very specific way. And I think we may be getting close to figuring out exactly what was going on here. our investigation has come to a close, I feel. I don't think there's much more in the way of evidence that we're going to pick up now, anyway. Because, yeah, there is a connection between Ron being at Kane Bullard's office and the air quotation marks real mask-to-mask stealing the urn. So, I think that thief is going to be making another appearance indeed. Everything is to be continued as the final trial of the stolen turnabout begins.